part of their business, they do make money during volatile situations. Although the economy was in doldrums, they projected for the worst, so they made huge provisions. So starting with number one, well, we start with the book itself.
Hello everyone, this is Plenty with Sulo. Hair and makeup, Moshi Aesthetic, clothing partner G-Flock, and the venue partner Department of Coffee. This is Plenty with Sulo with Delvin Pereira online. Hello everyone, this is Plenty with Sulo. Today our conversation is with Delvin Pereira, the Governor of Rotary Sri Lanka. Hi Delvin.
Hi Sulo.
It's a pleasure to have you, and this is very informal discussion. Before we proceed with you, Delvin, who is Delvin?
How do you want me to start that?
Just a small introduction about you, who you are.
If you want to, well, I would put myself personally a person who likes the basics of life, enjoy life. Professionally, I would say committed to my task, and I started in my career as a banker from grassroots level, where I went on to I worked with two banks, that is the Commercial Bank, Seylan Bank, where I went on to ride up the ladder and last serving the Seylan Bank as Deputy General Manager in charge of their branch business banking. And of course, I pursued my passion to work with SMEs. So I continue to do that as a consultant, most often as an advisor and mentor. And then, of course, I got this opportunity to continue my passion when I got involved with, I've been involved with Rotary for some time, but then being elected as the district governor gave me more, I would say, a platform for me to pursue with that support. Talking more on my career, well, I continue to represent the banking sector as a director of the Amana Bank. So basically, that's me about my professional career. Been, during my career, I of course got extensive training in many countries: Philippines, India. I had a stint at the Amana University, then Thailand, many Asian countries. I've spent time on my training in developing skills, particularly on the micro SME segment, as well as supporting the SME. So that's just a little bit to start with.
Okay. So my second question was to be about your 3 decades of experience in banking industry compared to what you started from the low and you came to the top and then now in the boards. How do you look at Sri Lankan banking sector and Sri Lankan economy?
Firstly, the banking sector, I must say to some extent it has been sophisticated, moving with the global trends up to a certain point. But in the last 4 or 5 years, we have taken a backseat simply because we ourselves have been dragged into the whole scenario where we were going through an economic crisis. So, as far as how the banks have been coping with this, I mean, many views are that okay, the banks are making huge profits in a situation where the economy is facing a brink. But then that is also, to be fair, from the banking side, bankers are dealing with money, so they have to have, they have to have the financial strength. And other thing is, they do bankers part of their business. They do make money during volatile situations, a part and parcel of the banking business. And with the interest rate dynamics and things, they tend to get profits coming in. At the same time, I think they got the advantage of certain impairment provisions being reversed because although the economy was in doldrums, they projected for the worst, so they made huge provisions. So some of those actually reversing back to their favor, with some of the companies, doing better than what was expected. As far as the support in general, they have been very supportive of support the economic sector, particularly the business, the SMEs. But then also we have to understand that bankers are also in business, so they have their own limitations when it comes to how they handle matters, because I mean, I could talk more probably as you go on with question.
Yeah, and I want to ask you your new role as the governor of Rotary Sri Lanka. How do you look at it in favor of Sri Lanka? And how, because Rotary has done so much to Sri Lanka, society-wise, economy-wise, you all have contributed a lot. So, taking the leadership of the governor, what will be your role, and how you want it to be more impactful role in Sri Lanka?
Very good question, Sulo, because you see, Rotary has also evolved as a starting from an organization that was more towards service. I mean, basically, we go to the roots. It was a networking organization, just 4 or 5 people meeting around a coffee table in 1905, mainly to build up a business network, which finally went on to evolve into service, where they found that service they had opportunity for service, so it grew. Over the past few years, it has gone further on running as a corporate. So we operate on 4 strategic action pillars. That is where we look at projects where we create impact. We look at outreach, on how we reach the community, the part through various means. Then how we get people engaged, the membership get engaged, and also most recently on how we have been adapting to the changing environment. So those are the 4 basic pillars that govern the way we go forward. So in terms of the question you gave on how we have been building on our impact, well, we have been more focused on projects that are, I would say, compassionate. Like to start with, last year we were very much bent on raising $1 million for the Little Hearts. It was known as Rotary for Little Hearts, where we were raising funds to support the equipping of the Lady Ridgeway hospital to conduct surge operations for kids affected with congenital heart diseases. So if you go even further, we were very much involved in supporting the rehabilitation of schools with the tsunami, when we were affected with the tsunami. Then right now there are a number of other projects that go on, like in Kent you get the Center for Handicapped, where up to now they've done about 40,000, they've helped about 40,000 beneficiaries with artificial limbs. Then, I mean, you could go on, you get a number of projects like that. In Colombo, we operate a center for early cancer detection where anybody would just walk in. So these are all operational projects that we do. So to that, this year, as governor coming in, I need to add something different.
Yeah.
Rotary focuses on 7 areas. There are 7 focused areas, and you find all this go from providing to clean water to protecting the environment. So this time we thought we'll take a different view, particularly understanding the country's need, because right now we all know we are coming out of an economic crisis, and well, you could always provide the person a meal, but it's better that we move on to helping somebody to catch fish. So this is the approach when we touched on supporting the SME segment. So the how we have approached it has the multidimensional views.
So my question to you on that, because Sri Lanka is not now actually has understood to come out of from the crisis, or for Sri Lanka the importance of SMEs, right? So you are coming from a background of banking and finance, and then Rotary, your new role is to promote SME in Sri Lanka. So how you all are moving forward this project?
It's a very wide area, because unlike other areas where you select one segment and you go and back it, here when you talk about SMEs, we have the micro segment with the small industries, then you have the SMEs that go on to the large SMEs. Generally, any business which has a turnover of 750 million is classified according to the standards as an SME. So our first question was, where are we going to pitch? I mean, we can't be addressing this whole segment because it has to be a collective effort. So basically, our role should be on a two-pronged approach. One is how we support the collective effort. Second one is how individually at Rotary club level, how do they create impact with the projects that they do? Because it's not the first time that we actually getting involved with SME. If we go through on some of the things we have been doing, if I look at, say, in the north, a place like Kilitochi, they have been having a sustaining project of supporting 150 farmers, helping them to get loans and helping them to sustain their life. If you look at Kandy, they have set up a center in the Kandy city center where they help SMEs to come and sell
These
their
are
products.
women SMEs, right?
Yeah.
Or this the
These are all more at the micro level. So these are projects happening in isolation. So the whole idea of this year, what we are trying to get all these focused, because now these are happening in fragmentation. So what we are trying to do is get the whole thing on a common platform with focus. How at district level we support is we are partnering with different organizations. Now yesterday we had a program. We had an address by the Deputy Minister Chaturanga. So he echoed the same sentiments that I had, that we are having several institutions. They have to support SMEs. I mean, I would say government organization about 6, which they have sponsored. The non-government, there is another about 10 or 15. But the problem is all these organizations, they function in fragmentation. Because if you look at the SME segment, they don't go. And the minister was saying that there were loan schemes of 6 billion and 1.5 utilized. So the thing is, how are these communicated to this SME needy segment? There should be some platform to do that. But if you go individually and you see each of these organizations are set up for a functionality, but they don't have a budget on how they promote their, the awareness. Some of them are publishing these things in newspapers, which nowadays people don't read newspapers. They go on to social media. So are they really making aware of their presence on the right channel? So like this, there are a lot of gaps. So what at district level, what we are trying to do is to basically, combine the dots, get all these organizations onto one platform, identify the needy groups, put them on capacity building programs as a first step. Second step, see how we could identify individuals whom we could take further and support that. So the idea is that we have a maximum reach in terms of supporting SMEs, in terms of impact, identify a few SMEs that we could sort of have some success stories that could, be motivational.
I'm going to shift bit to your personal life, right? I know you have a strong wife who was former banker, and you're coming from a background where you have women surrounded, right?
Okay.
So how do you look at, when you spoke about the entrepreneurship and especially the women contribution with the Sri Lankan economy, and SME sector and micro sector is run by women. How do you look at the women participation and how Rotary can actually look at it in a very positive way to bring those women who's contributing to a platform that they can go to the global?
Yeah, it's a very good question. A very, probably you have to go into more deep to understand the whole thing. Starting with number one, well, we start with the Rotary itself. How do we have the representation of women? So this has been one of our focused areas. Number one, to assist that area, we also need to have more women who understand with getting into Rotary. So that has been one of our focus areas of attracting more ladies to women to join Rotary on one side. Then on how we help the empowerment on women entrepreneurs. There are these challenges have been there. As a bank, I have seen the challenges that they have gone through. Number one, most when it comes to networking for business, they meet in evenings. Our culture doesn't provide. It's not easy for women entrepreneurs to move in these circles and start moving. It's not a common playing field. When it goes to banks, now of course we don't. Basically anybody walking in, you get the same thing. But then they have limitations in terms of moving in some of these circles which facilitate businesses. So you have to have a forum that you pay special attention. But one thing that every banker or banking segment focus on supporting women is, women, the commitment as far as entrepreneurship is much more reliable than when it comes to men for some reason. I would not want to go there to say why it is, but if you take the example of Professor Yunus when he did the Bangladesh micro, that was basically on women. Even here, you will see on the micro segment, most of the, if you see the upcountry, you find it the women who bring the money, the men drink in the evening. I was surprised that when you go to a place like Bugwantala, there are 6 taverns.
Yeah.
I mean, a small town has 6 taverns because the men drink in the evening, the women earn the money. So, in all aspects, it's an angle that should be supported in terms of the development aspect. You have more scope there. In terms of how you support, yes, we have to find ways and means of how we differentiate and identify the challenges that they face, and that we take them through the route where we also address those challenges. So that is basically one of the things I would think, and that's why most of the banks, you find that they are now setting up units specifically focused on women entrepreneurs. Whether those are properly addressing the issues and whether they are really taking the issue from where it should be could be debatable. Like sometimes some organizations they use it purely as a front to show that they are as a publicity arm, but whether they are really committed to helping is something that you need to look at.
And I know Kurunagala, you have a Rotary Training Center which is coming out. It's a training center or?
Yeah, we have now in our startup to our whole campaign, we did 2 programs. One was in Call, one was in Kurunagala, and both these programs are basically on women empowerment.
Okay.
So, in the case of Gaul, we had some experiences of identifying a few individuals we have taken over. Like there was a lady who was manufacturing bags, that is, what they call environment friendly bags. So, we are trying to get Cargills and one or two more supermarkets to start buying from her as a support to help her. Then there was this other lady who was already in the market manufacturing life jackets, and who had an opportunity to enter into the UK market, where basically she was finding it having some problem on how she get the standardization, the certification. So we were able to use our contacts and right now get on the process. So everything going right. We will see an exporter, the coming up of a lady, woman entrepreneur into exports. Going further to Kurunagala, where we had a similar program, that club, I must commend them for taking the matter forward. So what they have done is they have one of their members, they run a supermarket. So he has allocated the entire segment for these entrepreneurs to come and display their goods. So he has worked out the mechanism where they can come and place their goods, and when they sell, they get credited and sort of given a focused area purely for this. So this is exactly what we need to be, need to be happening.
So that's my final question to you, because Rotary is a worldwide organization, very respectful organization, and where Sri Lankan, a lot of entrepreneurs actually can go to the world, I think, through Rotary, and you all have taken that initiative even this year. That's commendable. But how Rotary can actually assist in economic wise for the entrepreneurs to go to the export market? How do you think you all can pave a path to Sri Lankan entrepreneurs?
This also was discussed because you see, one of the challenges that, in fact, even at the previous interview, this was discussed in length. One of the challenges we have is we don't, when in the current situation, when overseas markets start looking at Sri Lanka, they're very skeptical. One thing is the country is sovereign rating. So when it comes to, even if they see the opportunity to come and invest here, like they go by the country rating. So what Rotary, the advantage we got is that we are connected to 1.4 billion international network, and all these guys are either professionals or businessmen. So they build up strong network that supersedes these country ratings and all this, and they develop trust where these investors come and do business. So here, the other way we are looking at, and in fact I should also mention, we have an arm called the Rotary Means Business. That is where all the...
I saw that.
Yes, we officially launched it last week. So that's a forum that gets all business, the business fragment, business, Rotarians working together. So now we are getting them to get involved in this project and start looking on how we could connect some of these businesses with opportunities for international markets that they are dealing with. So it's a starting point, but there is a lot of scope. Because this project we are not looking at it as one-off thing that's going to finish it, my governorship is over. Because once we create the trend and people see the value of it and the value they contribute, and this is a focused area. So, whoever governor comes for the future, this economic and community development is a focused area of Rotary, and the more we show the impact, the more it is going to get support and commitment. So that is an opportunity that we have, which we are exploring of getting our using that to take our entrepreneurs to the export markets.
I think that would be great because I think comparing to our global network, the Sri Lanka itself has, the lottery has more opportunities. So thank you, Delvin, for coming on Plenty with Sulo. Finally, do you have any message to the community, the Sri Lankans?
Well, I would say it's a period that people should be taking serious of. I mean, as much as life has to go on, the time that you also looked at service in a bigger way. When you say service, sometimes what happens is people think service is about you're leaving all your things and coming and sacrificing, but you don't need to do any sacrifice. All you have to do is in what you do, or what it is, vocation, business or profession, that you see that you deliver your duty or the service above yourself, in the sense, don't look at you will get what you want, but look beyond that and see that you give the best of quality of service, and that automatically would support the overall initiative of uh, taking this country to a next level. And the second thing is that don't depend on the government to do everything. Okay, we need a government to support, but they are not going to do everything. You have to do your part of your contribution in supporting the system. So that you should look at that also. So that's the message I would like to do.
Great message. He said, don't depend on the government. We also have a part to do to the country. Today we had Delvin Pereira, the District Governor, Rotary Sri Lanka. Thank you very much, Delvin. It was a pleasure to have you. And this is Plenty with Sulo with Delvin Online.